The Danganronpa games might be why visual novels have penetrated the West. These games put players on the task of solving ingenious mysteries and finding out who the culprit is in a cruel, killing game. Each entry further ups the ante, with new compelling characters and witty dialogue that made them engrossing. Danganronpa's creator Kazutaka Kodaka would further go on to create new mystery games that would stray further away from the limitations of visual novels, as seen with World's End Club and Death Come True. With Master Detective Archive's Rain Code, he would return to his bread and butter, uncovering the truth behind bizarre murders with minigame abstractions. This could be Kodaka's most ambitious thriller yet. There is no killing game this time, but discovering the truth still leads to death, and the cast is no longer confined to a school. With the help of a death god, can Yuma Cocohead take responsibility for the truth? Is the ultimate secret of Kanai Ward worth discovering? Find out in this Master Detective Archive's Rain Code review. Kanai Ward is a city that screams under the chokehold of the Amaterasu Corporation's despotic control. This company is like Umbrella meets Apple, BlackRock, and Acme. There is no soup where they don't have their sinister hand in. This company is a town full of secrets, and at the heart of them all is the Amaterasu Corporation's security force, the Peacekeepers, who control the flow of information and suppress the truth. There are no detectives in Kanai Ward. Most citizens have no concept of them. The Peacekeepers act as judge, jury, and executioner, and most of the time they aren't interested in the truth. Whatever story is most convenient always becomes the official story in Kanai Ward, which makes this city full of unsolved mysteries and wayward souls who never got justice. It never stops raining in Kanai Ward, and the sun never rises. It is a town trapped in a perpetual state of gloomy grit and steadily rising water levels. It's an industrial neon-soaked cyberpunk dystopia that feels like Midgar, as imagined by the Danganronpa designers. Signs and graffiti mix languages like Cyrillic, English, and Japanese, further illustrating a globalist tyranny. Everywhere you look, there is either vulgar decadence or bleak desperation. Kanai Ward is a city of extremes. Areas can be dark and dank as a dungeon, or lit up in glaring, ostentatious signs or light fixtures. The oppressive atmosphere is palpable, and you'll always feel like you gotta watch over your shoulder and wipe your brow from the constant stream of rain running down your face. Kanai Ward is almost cut off from the rest of the world. Nobody has cell phones, and the internet doesn't work there due to severe interference. That won't stop the World Detective Order from sending their top talent to figure out what is going on over there. At least they would if most of them didn't get assassinated on the train ride over. Yuma Cocohead is one of the few who made it into Kanai Ward. The only problem is he isn't actually a master detective like the rest of the WDO. He doesn't even remember anything about himself, but he has a natural detective instinct. Actual master detectives have a forensic forte, which in this game means some kind of superpower. One master detective has the power to look into the past and see the crime scene as it was first discovered. Another master detective is a master of disguise, and another could speak to animals. Yuma has no apparent forte, but he does have a pact with a death god. Shinigami may be a death god, but she is really easy on the eyes. She normally resembles a floating purple sperm cell with horns. But when it's time for Yuma to solve a mystery, she becomes a total babe that would make the ultimate despair jealous. The mechanics of the mystery dimension are as ludicrous as they are fascinating. The more mysteries that are unsolved, the more likely people are driven to murder. The labyrinths manifest whenever a crime has been committed, and are where Yuma is tasked with uncovering the truth by interpreting abstract representations of the crime, which are in the form of various minigame modules. Yuma isn't here to administer justice. The fact is, there is no justice in Kanai Ward, and there may very well never be justice. The best Yuma can do is discover the truth with the help of Shinigami. When deducting who the killer is from the inside of the mystery dimension, Shinigami administers her own brand of justice and takes their soul, like a reverse Death Note. This brings up a lot of questions about the morality of solving these cases, since the truth kills the perpetrator. Yuma has a terrible responsibility, and his characters will be pushed to make gut-wrenching decisions. As the drama unfolds, expect to get enveloped with the cast of characters and to care about what happens. The narrative is some of the finest mystery writing in video games, but it does have some flaws. Like with many visual novel games, Master Detective Archive's Raincode is rotten with excessive Aizuchi dialogue. It is understandable since this is a Japanese game, and certain cultural aspects are unavoidable, but in Raincode, it gets out of hand and needlessly pads out already long dialogue scenes. Not only does the filler dialogue slow things down, but there's numerous examples of information being repeated multiple times in consecutive scenes. It will feel like a recap of a scene you'll ponder if there was a greater significance, because Kodaka's games tend to have very deliberate scenes. While the pacing of the dialogue can be overly drawn out or repetitive at times, the writing is genuinely witty and sharp. There are some hilarious lines of dialogue with perfectly executed readings, and every cast member sounds natural and is well cast. Yuma, the lead, especially comes off very convincing as a naive and youthful junior detective. The meat of Master Detective Archive's Raincode's gameplay is exploring Kanai Ward and making sense of the bizarre killings. When entering the mystery labyrinth, the gameplay shifts to various kinds of set pieces and minigames like the ones used in Danganronpa. The death matches are a highlight and are a little bit like Punch-Out meets the debates in the Killing Games trials. Yuma can sidestep, duck, jump, or slash at distracting information, but he must attack the lie with the truth that is in the form of a sword. Other sequences involve reconstructing the murder and figuring out the order of events, or enduring a gauntlet of quick-time events where the player has to choose the correct prompt. Some holdovers from Danganronpa return, such as the final denouement manga reconstruction, but with some modifications to eliminate the guesswork that made them troublesome. Even the dreaded Hangman's Gambit returns, but is a lot easier to figure out the correct word since players can get hints and letters can be grouped for easier conclusions. Keeping tabs on details and the environment of the murder scenes is key to understanding how the killings took place. Watching characters' behavior is also critical to understanding who committed the murders and figuring out the motive too. There is always a sense that the solutions are just out of grasp and are on the verge of a revelation as the stories unfurl. Jun Fukuda and Masafumi Takada utterly nail the soundtrack and get the mood flawlessly with their beats. The music has a smoldering jazzy feel that combines some trip-hop and magnificently captures the tone of Kanai Ward's noirish atmosphere. Some Euro house music influences crop up for intense moments to emphasize the sense of panic and mania. Regretfully, all the wonderful ambiance takes a hit while exploring or diving deeper into the mystery labyrinths because of Master Detective Archive's Raincode's frequent load times. The length of load times are not the longest, but they are long enough that they're annoying, and they happen long enough that gamers may start to lose patience the more they play. While doing side quests, the loading screens will be burned into retinas because they involve jumping around to different locations in the Kanai Ward, and a lot of the time it won't feel worth the effort, since it only rewards with XP, which is used to unlock skills that make the minigames in the mystery labyrinths easier. If Master Detective Archive's Raincode was on a more capable platform with a solid state drive, players might have not noticed the transitions between areas. After a while, the loading will wear down players, and compounded with a laid-back gameplay experience, this could turn off people from enjoying the game's finer qualities. Master Detective Archive's Raincode does run pretty stable, and texture loading is rare. The only other technical drawback is the rendering distance for NPCs who first appear as generic silhouettes, then vanish, then are rendered as their actual character model. Fans of Danganronpa games will surely find a lot to like with Master Detective Archive's Raincode. It is a worthy spiritual successor that expands on a greater premise and introduces new ideas. The callbacks are tasteful, and the new cast hold their own in this fascinating world of Kanai Ward.